So I'll look at you. I keep wanting to look over there. Okay. So my name is Miguel Villegas. I am a 43-year-old architect in Las Vegas. I initially got an interest in architecture in high school. I made a trip to Hong Kong and Singapore and saw a lot of the cool tall skyscrapers there. And I was really good at math and drawing. So around 10th grade, that's when I decided to make the big, commitment that I want to be an architect. And so in high school, I worked a lot on my portfolio to get into different architecture colleges. I applied junior year to 10 different colleges around the country, got into every single one except one. The one I didn't get to is Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, but it's okay because I ended up getting into the best architecture school in the country, which was Cornell University at the time, #1 program. And architecture is typically a 5-year program, Bachelor of Architecture. After you complete your 5 years of Bachelor of Architecture, you come into the workforce typically. You work a couple of years to get some hours accrued, and then you take a series of 7 exams before you can become an officially licensed architect. So I did that. I graduated in 2005 after 5 years. My thesis was actually on Las Vegas at Cornell. So I explored kind of the pedestrian aspect of Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Strip has always been kind of a very vehicular-oriented corridor. And when you're walking down the strip, you have, the 2 sidewalks that don't really talk to each other. You're kind of on one or the other. And so my thesis talked about trying to mesh the 2 sidewalks in a way and create a more pedestrian-friendly avenue down the whole Las Vegas Strip. So this was in 2005 when I did this thesis, and I kind of feel validated in a way because more pedestrian-friendly things did start to pop up in my 20-year career here so far. So things like the link, for instance. We got rid of all the vehicular traffic going through there, and you have a nice dense city feel. Have you ever walked through the link before? Yeah, you have small scale buildings on either side of you. You have kind of sidewalk curves. You have a fountain in the middle where there's a lot of activity where people could come and hang out. And then a few years later, Park MGM did their own sort of little pedestrian avenue that leads to T-Mobile Arena where the Vegas Golden Knights play. So they aligned that with different food and beverage outlets. And it just creates kind of a better sense of community, I think. If something isn't working, AKA not making money, owners have to make a decision to either revamp it or just eliminate it entirely. So we've seen tons of kind of demolitions in our time here in Las Vegas, the most recent being the East Side Cannery. That thing was bought by Boyd Gaming, which is a gaming company here in town. And during COVID, they shut it down. And they tried to reopen it shortly after, but the numbers weren't doing so hot, so they just kept it closed. And in this last year, they made the decision to knock it down and maybe put something new up. So because it wasn't making any money, it was almost cheaper or more economical for them to knock it down. Bellagio used to be the Dunes back in the day. They took down the Dunes, Bellagio went up in 1997. The Venetian used to be the Sands. So there's a cool kind of reinventing of history going on here in Las Vegas. There's a lot of things that get torn down for big and new things to get torn or to be built up. And sometimes things aren't even completely torn down to the bones. I'm working on a big project right now on the Strip called the Hard Rock. So this you can't show, but this you can.
Okay.
So you could kind of like get down the 50-yard line of the, or down the strip here, and you can see where the strip bends, and you can see the guitar, Yeah. So this is the old Mirage, built in 1989. We're going to keep the existing structure of the hotel tower, 3,000 rooms right here, but we're demolishing the atrium and the volcano to put the 675 suite guitar right in the middle of the axis right here, which will also be right on axis with Las Vegas Boulevard right here. It'll be called Hard Rock Las Vegas, opening in 2027, end of 2027. And that project is defined by a giant 660-foot tall guitar-shaped hotel. But the interesting thing about that is that it's taken over the old Mirage. The Mirage was kind of the first big mega resort on the Strip that opened in '89. And it was eventually bought by Hard Rock 3 years ago for, I want to say, $4 billion cash or something crazy, right? But the thing with that property is that it still had a lot of good bones since it was only 40 years old or whatever. And we're not tearing it down completely, but we did get rid of the beloved volcano, which a lot of people seem to like. And we're putting a big guitar-shaped hotel in its place. But like I said earlier, we're kind of bringing the building up to the times now. The Mirage was very, very dated, and it needed a revamp. There's some people that don't like that change, but Las Vegas was built on change, and that's the only way we're going to keep evolving forward.